Oh man, so much has happened. So much has happened in such little time. Whoa, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll just say it's all your fault. But
Yeah, I was like, what did I miss something?
no, because I was like, I'll put it this way. I was at a zero, but like in the last like 45 seconds, I'm at like a good 75%. So I
what
don't, yeah.
happened? what did I miss? Like you still ain't
That's how
telling me what I missed.
that's literally how it goes sometimes. So I'm gonna just adjust this little bad boy, and I think I'm good to go.
You think you're good to go? I'm glad. Look, I'm glad about that because we definitely got a decent amount we got to get into. Caitlin Clark, for our basketball fans, Caitlin Clark suffered a left quadricep strain and will be out a minimum of 2 weeks. Indiana Fever ain't in trouble. They got a squad. They'll be fine. But outside of all that, I was like, outside of all the foolishness, what is happening? Is this man okay?
I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, he was just scaring me. Okay, well, we could just jump right into it. Hello, all, and welcome to the Hill Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr., the man that's pretty much drowning himself right now off screen. Devin Lee Crimes Jr. Devin,
Yeah, there you go.
how's you doing today?
No, pretty good. Pretty good. It's not as bad as you look.
I don't know if you were drowning yourself or taking just a crazy amount of pills there, because it's just like off camera. It's just
Well, I just at the time I was like, well, you know what? I ain't trying to sponsor nobody,
I was
so
like, man. I was like, he could have just showed. I mean, look, we gonna see him eventually. We gonna see him eventually, whether they giving us money or not. I mean, at this point,
yeah, it was one of those. I needed a helping hand, but I didn't want nobody to see the helping hand.
look, we could say the people's name, but like, say if like Fightful, if you came in here with a Fightful sweatshirt, I'd be hot. I'd be a little hurt. I'd be like, all right, bro, you cross the line there. But if this is like an energy drink that everybody else drink, I don't really drink energy drinks. But if it's like something like that, yeah, something like, okay, cool. I didn't even see the logo.
Yeah, I'm like, this is something. I don't know what this is.
See, Devin just be drinking some out of nowhere stuff. You just found out for some dude popped open his van, the trunk of his van. I got this energy drink for you, Devin. That's how it was.
Drink, man. It'll keep you awake for 2 days.
Guaranteed. Keep you awake for 2 days. Exactly. I was like, you're gonna be working for NWA. You're gonna be up there with Billy Corgan. I'm telling you, you're gonna be a mess.
See, that's why I needed that. Not what you just recommended, but what I just said.
Hey, but look, we can all agree that you need some help, and one person that could definitely come through and help is our boy Justin here. Justin comes through. What's good, fellas? He says Devin's gonna go from death pool to dive pool. I don't know. I don't even know at this point. He might just come into I can't say an addicted pool because I don't even make any sense. But just know this man got some help. This man needs some help.
Dang. See, I don't even know where to go with that one. It's like he just stuck me in a black alley and said, "Make the most of this."
Make the most of this. I'm actually glad you said that because I feel like that's what a lot of people.
I found the perfect alley to sit you in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. I feel like that's what a lot of people have felt about TNA in this situation. TNA have been put in this dark alley and just have been left for dead. Now that Trick Williams has officially won the TNA championship, he's defeated Joe Hendry, and man, I mean, a lot of people you've seen the biggest meme going around is that, well, TNA is done for. You seen the TNA president on side, looking disgusted after Trick Williams won, then posted on Twitter, well, see you in the office tomorrow. It's like, see you tomorrow, buddy. It's shocking, obviously, but at the end of the day, I felt like it was going to happen eventually. Were you shocked at the ending of WWE Battleground?
No, because I mean, I hate to be that person, but that's exactly where I wanted them to go. Because I felt like the safest route would be Joe Hendry retaining, and I just don't see the real true spark in that. Because it's kind of like, okay, so what does Trick does? What does Trick? I'll be more intrigued as to what would Joe Hendry do in response to losing the main championship of his brand to another wrestler from another brand versus just a champion retaining a championship for his brand. And with that, I don't necessarily think all that. I think all that's exaggeration of TNA's dead, because obviously we know the partner. Sorry, that's that. That whatever this sparkling water is.
Oh, cracking
But
the cup.
See, there you go, man. With his accusations. But we already know the partnership between WWE and TNA in the first place. So I mean, it's kind of expected, and it's kind of great that they've even reached that level in terms of building up, that they've been able to have a match that had their championship exchanging on a show such like that. The first time having a TNA championship being defended, the TNA World Championship being defended on a WWE PLE like it was. So I know they'll be fine. People have put championships on worse people. At least it is a wrestler. At least it's with a company they're in a partnership with. I don't see what's the big deal.
I mean, no, I don't see what the big deal is.
Not to you. I want you to think, I'm like, what's the big deal, pal?
No, I'm in agreement.
Oh, I know
90, 50, 70%, because I do agree on one hand that, yeah, what's the big deal? Trick Williams just won. While on the flip side, how was this title being represented, at least on WWE? We saw him at Mania, and we saw the work that he put in at Mania. We seen him show. Joe Hendry is a big name, but that also throws me off as to why is he getting treated like this? Why are you? I guess you could say being on WWE NXT is a huge thing. Being on WrestleMania is a huge thing. We haven't really seen Joe Hendry in the greatest of light. When he came to NXT, he was over here getting jumped and had to go honk honk. He had to get hank and tank, honk and tonk. Had to get the boys to come through and help him out. Joe, I just didn't think Joe Hendry was getting portrayed in a really good light, at least on the WWE side. On the TNA side, I felt like, at least at the beginning of it, from the reviews that I saw, because Devin's the subscriber, I just watched the review side of it. Joe Hendry had a solid, not a great, not a awesome, just a solid TNA championship run. Now it's just a matter of seeing where are you going to go from here, and how is WWE going to portray you. I want WWE to portray him a whole lot better than what we're doing now, because the interest is cool. His little turn back around, that little turnaround is awesome. But, even his slam, even his finisher is awesome. But at the end of the day, I do want to see a little bit more from Trick Williams. Wow, we already seen enough from Trick Williams. I'm kind of dealing with some Trick Williams fatigue a little bit. But hey, he's hot right now. You gotta give the man a whole lot of credit. Shout out to Justin. He says, let's be honest, nobody looks forward to working for Billy Corgan. Oh, Devin does. That's a lie. There's one person out there.
Look, man, with TNA, it's the piece of boo-boo that I know.
Well, what about NWA? You can side on NWA. Hey, with Billy Corgan out there,
See, that's the piece of boo-boo that I don't really know. That's where I'm glad you brought it right up, because I'm like, yeah, see, it's.
I'm telling you, even Justin says Trick winning the world title was great. This is definitely setting up getting the title on Santana after him and Trick had a face-to-face stare down on TNA a few weeks ago. Yep, we saw Santana at Battleground as well, got the interview, and I'm like, man, this is just looking weird now. It's just because I'm just so used to seeing him with his tag team partner that he hated. It's just like, so it's just like I was just so
hated it. I'm
that he
sorry.
always hated him. He was just like looking at Tony Khan like, brother, please, just let me go. Let's let me go single, please. This Ortiz dude sucks. I hate him. I hate him forever. I'm gonna swing on him. But it's just like, honestly, and honestly, just looking at how Mike Santana, even seeing how he was portrayed in the couple weeks leading up to this to this pay-per-view, PLE, I do think it's solid, and I think he should be the one to take down Trick Williams. Trick Williams doesn't need to hold this title for very long, I don't think. Shout out to Lord coming through. Sup, fellas? What's good, Redeemer? And of course, you can see the Redeemer on Circle of Debate, which is where I'm going to go to with this next topic, because this was going to bring me to the plug that I was going to. But you can check out Circle of Debate. Of course, they go live almost every day, if not almost every day, pretty much every day. You can go watch their watch parties. Absolutely amazing. It's a whole lot of fun. They had a blast last night. It was a whole lot of fun, especially with everything that was taking place. The Notorious Dom, Justin, the Redeemer, of course. And then you had the devious one, Ivan, as well. I was on there, not on there in the flesh, but I was texting in when the first match was on with Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan, and that match was a whole lot of fun. Just the athleticism, just completely unmatched. Devin, were your expectations met with this opening match between Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka?
Yes, it was, because I remember watching it. It was crazy because they had a match like, I want to say a year ago on NXT, and this was like, man, now I'm thinking about like kind of early stages of like them starting to establish themselves like more on the NXT women's roster. So like to see them now in a match for the women's North American Championship, it was kind of like I remember watching that match then, going like, man, look at this is a pretty good match that those two can put together. Then and like now, like I said, like a year or so and a half later, watching it now, I'm like, dang, it's like they're still in NXT, and I'm like, this is still improvement from then to now. So I would say my expectations have been met, and then I play some more, if that makes sense. When you get all like some stuff checked off a list, and you're like, all right, let's turn the page. I got another.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It was just the way you stopped. I was just like, oh, is he gonna keep talking? Or so I was like, okay, you're just gonna end the sentence right there. Cool. No, it was just an abrupt stop.
I was like, I figured, we turn the page, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's the same thing that was on the front page, just a little different.
No, I understand. I think that makes perfect sense. It was so. I'm agreeing with you. I swear I'm agreeing with you. Like it was just one of those things where I do remember the first match that they had, and I do remember even enjoying that one. But now you come through, a little bit more seasoned than what they were before, and it looks 10 times better. Was that an 051 splash or 051? Was that 051? With the Sol Ruka's finisher?
Hey, I'm gonna be like you, man. I can do these moves, but like
I can do these moves.
The names. Especially when they start throwing these numbers into them, them 450s and.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a whole lot of numbers to it too. I will give you that. A whole lot of numbers to it too. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's an 05. Now I got to look at the notes. See, I was trying to do this without notes. See, and not Devin making me look like a bum, man. Devin making me look like a straight bum. Now I got
a bum would have no notes. Like they just
a bum would have no notes.
And I'm never gonna know. At least we taking the effort to learn and be 100% accurate. Some people don't do that.
I don't want to say that was 051. And so just even looking at that, even looking the soul, just I'm like, I know it's a soul snatcher, but I want to say it was talking about the move up top. It was
because when you were saying her finisher, I was like, I guess he must not be talking about the soul snatcher. So that's why at first I was gonna say it, but I was like, he got to be talking about something else.
No, like I know it's a soul snatcher. No, like I know it's a soul snatcher. I'm trying to like put it into words to like because I'm not making sense right now. So it's like the setup of it all. Because instead of just going off of the ropes, she just went on the top rope, got herself ready, and then went on it. So I'm just it was set up. I want to say like a 051 splash, like a Mustafa Ali in a way, but it wasn't a splash itself. Of course, like it was a soul snatcher. I want to say the setup itself.
The setup is yeah. No, I get what you were saying. It was just
I'm
like I
sorry.
said, it was just leading up to it. I was like, all the time this man be on here, so good, the way should be soul snatching. Oh my god! And so I'm like sitting up here thinking like he don't know the name of this move, but I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because it's him.
No, I just meant about the setup itself. That was my fault. I meant the setup itself because instead of just bouncing off the rope and going, doing the flip, she just got up on the top rope and set up, and then you did the flip. So I just meant the
no,
it's
that's how wicked it is because she could just literally just do
whatever
different variations. Yeah. Like granted, I
Justin,
would hate for that to be her main finisher, but the variations is crazy.
And he's spot on. The progress in NXT of both Sol Ruka and Kalani has been fantastic. Love both these women. The setup is Ali's old finisher 054. 054. Thank you, Justin. Look. I'm sorry. You got to give Justin a whole lot of credit, a whole lot of love, a whole lot of praise for the man, Justin. Man, we need like multiple claps. We need more.
That used to be his area code. I'm just kidding.
Like this has been unreal. And this is off the top too. Huge shout out to Justin, and that's a lie. Lord, I don't deserve to be held. That's a lie. It was like you have Lord in the name. It's automatic. It's automatic.
He said I'm not hailable right now.
I'm not hailable right now. But
I'm not a hailable. Get it? I'm not a hailable.
I'm not a hailable.
All right, okay. What did they put in this?
What did they put in this? But I do think that Sol Ruka, even though I'm not trying to get in trouble for saying this, but like, with Sol Ruka's size, she still has strength. She still has the strength outside of the athleticism. So, you could do a whole lot with that. So I feel like once her and Zarya do end up coming to blows, oh yeah, like I'm ready. Not oh yeah, but like oh yeah, like I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I was like not like oh yeah, like oh yeah.
You be talking about him, Bobby hearing a little Booker in your voice. Especially
like I ain't trying. Like I was trying to, but just like a
Jamie Hayter and stuff. You be like, oh yeah, man.
Oh, we gonna get to her. We gonna get to her because look, Mercedes Moné almost paralyzed my goat.
That's why.
But Justin says hail like Thea's last name. Yeah, that's right. That's right. She's another one that deserves it because she definitely deserves it. The boyfriend Stiller. The boyfriend.
She's not a hailable then.
She not a hell. No, she hailable for one person. He wasn't a hailable for Cora Jade. That's what it was. He just wasn't available. He wasn't available at all. Shout out to the notorious Dom. Devin, what's good? Izzy, nice couch. Yes, man. Brown couch. We do brown couches over here.
She sounded so brown couch. That's gonna be like the spinoff of your show, man. Izzy Brown Couch, man.
Izzy Brown Couch. Look, man, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna start there. He said Sol and Zarya is gonna be fun. That's what I'm telling you. Look, Sol Ruka has that extra strength, not advantage, but she has, that strength to her arsenal that I think she could pull off from time to time, and I think is just incredible. So yeah, I can't wait to see what the future holds for at least Sol Ruka. Kelani Jordan, I think she's athletic. I think she's cool, but I'm ready for Sol Ruka to be called up. I'm ready for Kelani Jordan.
At least Sol Ruka. The rest of them can just go, wherever and wrestle in somebody's basement for all I care.
Right.
Round
couch owners unite. I'm telling you, man. Unite them, man. I'm sorry, Devin. You just can't be a part of this in your undisclosed location.
Cool. It's too dark over here. There's no shades of brown besides me.
It's no shades of brown. I mean, even going from that, Stacks, of course, as we predicted, got the win over Tony D'Angelo. and it looks like we might just get another match, I hope, from this when it's all said and done. Devin, yeah, I mean, your thoughts on the underboss beating the boss?
I mean, really, at this point, I just really want the boss to like figure out what he gonna do with the rest of his life. Because we was talking about how long Roman was champion, and like when I think about when Tony D'Angelo has been in I said TNA, NXT, it's been a while, and like it's hard for me to really speak on future aspirations for him in NXT with any like hope and enthusiasm because I don't. I just because I've been wondering like how is this character gonna work on the main roster, but at this point I just want them to just try it. Like on SmackDown, SmackDown got a lot of weird stuff already. I can see Tony D'Angelo fitting in with the Aleister Blacks. The Y6 just returned. And I'm like, this is no offense to them. I'm just saying when people say like, oh, the mafia stuff, it's not gonna work. It definitely could work. It's just you gotta, apply it the right way. The point I'm trying to make, him and Stacks. In terms of watching this match, I thought like, okay, this is pretty cool. How they've took Stacks from being, that under guy he was from the beginning to the point that he's even stepping up to, Tony D'Angelo to have a match. Just to see that evolution of him, felt like okay, they've made a success of this. Can they just allow him to now run the family somehow himself and Tony go to the main? I don't know. Tony just basically, if they can get me Tony out of NXT, I'll be happy. They can do whatever they want with Stacks. If he gonna continue to be Stacks, that's fine. But Tony need to get out of NXT, and that's why I have no other, like when you said for them to have another match, and I'm like, you know what? If it gets me what I want, I'll take it. Because Tony been in NXT so long. I mean, I can't even explain to you like the magnitude of time. He was in that War Games when it was like him, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and they was going against like LA Knight. No, I'm sorry. I think LA Knight was on that team. Basically, like Braun Breaker was on that team, and like look what he doing. And Tony D'Angelo still in NXT fighting with his own people. Like he need to move on.
See, but that's the thing though. I'm opposite with that though. Like I do agree with there needs to be more for him to do, but I see two ways. I see Tony D'Angelo working because a lot of people do have doubts that Tony D'Angelo, this gimmick might not be in the greatest, in the main roster. At least this is coming from social media reactions, not talking about real actual reporters, or people that, matter. But, it's just like one of those things where it's like, yes, we don't matter. Like, we can be honest here. Like, we can crack a plane all we want. Like, Triple H is going to still do what Triple H want to do. The Rock still going, he going to do what he want to do at the end of the day. So it's like, but when you see this whole thing play out for Tony D'Angelo, I can see two ways, this working out. He could be as you mentioned, he could be out in the main roster putting out bounties. He could be the guy that's like, Aleister Black is out here murdering people. Why is he out here just kicking people upside the head, taking out all these opponents? Oh, well, this dude got a bounty, and I'm getting paid handsomely from Tony D'Angelo. And look, Tony D'Angelo want me to take out the competition. That's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm that guy. Or, and that's how he works his way to the top, kind of like an MJF role. MJF has a bunch of groups in AEW or had his pinnacles, had his, factions that brought him up to the top. And, I could see Tony D'Angelo doing something like that. Or he could be kind of like more of the, as you see him in NXT, more of the, I don't want to call them pre-recorded segments, even though that's what they are, but he could be more of a skit guy. You see him all on
cinematic.
There goes cinema. He could be more of the cinematic side where you see, he does wrestle because he is a good wrestler. He does wrestle. He does do the extracurricular activities, the good extracurricular activities. But at the end of the day, we're seeing him along after matches, after a segment, in a segment after a match. We're seeing him on TV after a segment, this and, just so much, that goes on. And so, honestly, I'm ready. I'm honestly ready to see what they have in store for Tony D'Angelo. I do think I mean, I've been saying this about JC Jane, and yet I feel like you haven't really punched on that one too hard as you did about Tony D'Angelo. And I feel like they've spent the same amount of time on NXT.
I mean, they both need to come up out of there. What you want me to do? JC Jane, you right. She been in there long when Mandy Rose was champion. I put it to you even like this. Roxanne Perez was having matches on SmackDown when Mandy Rose was champion. You know, in NXT. This is like, I think 2021. I could be wrong, but I do know Roxanne was having matches on SmackDown. I forgot, it was some type of tag team thing. I think it was back when your favorite Aaliyah was like tag teaming with Raquel. This is how far back I'm fetching, but not too far back. But like, that's how long JC Jane, Tony D'Angelo been in NXT, and it's like the people that came in around the same time as you is like in the main event picture right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's no offense. Like, you know, everybody has their own pace and their own thing. But at some point they gotta get you up out of there. You know, I'm like, that's a free space that another Tony D'Angelo could be in there. Another JC Jane could be floating around in there.
Honestly, more opportunities for other people. Of course. Even Justice says Stacks winning was the right decision. The story is all about Tony becoming soft like Stacks, he said. Then it's been very good so far. Look, the story has been really good so far. You know, I can't wait to see the family actually come back. You know, I can't wait to see the family actually come together. And, you know, after Stacks pretty much got him out of there with the quickness. Lord comes through, says Psycho in the house. And that's even if after Tony D'Angelo had to pretty much hawk Stacks down. They still got beat up in front of what's her name house? I forgot her name. Rizzo? Yeah. In front of Rizzo's house. Tony should be ashamed of himself. She looking out the window, seeing the boss get beat up by the underboss. Huge shout out to the devious one, Ivan. What's good, fams? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, brother. Wake up, Devin.
I just realized it was Monday too, to be honest. When I read it like Monday, I'm like, Monday. Today's Monday.
Yeah, but he's telling you to wake up. I felt like as I was talking, you were just like just dozing off, like just going.
I mean, sometimes that's what happens when he be talking. You know, I just be like, all right, man.
All right, man. He just spitting facts. I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what?
When I hear factual things, I get bored. Ugh.
He gonna circle back to my point anyway at some point. You know.
He's gonna circle. Yeah. Wait till I just waiting to hear him say I'm right. As soon as he says that, I'm wake up. Is he wake Devin up, please? I'm trying.
No, he's trying. I got this supposedly natural caffeine. So,
well, I'm pretty sure this match woke Devin up. Stephanie McCare taking on Jordan Grace.
Oh yeah, man.
I love the fake out we got. You know, Stephanie McCare getting ready, of course, and then as soon as she gets into position, Jordan Grace just rolls out of the ring. You know, and then she pretty much plants her on the announcement. Jordan Grace plants Stephanie McCare on the announcement table.
My TV out the window.
Yeah, right in front of Booker T. Booker T just said, "Oh," like, you know, just like, oh my God, man, she just laid it right in front of me, and I don't know what to do, man. It's just like, Booker T is just living in. You gotta love, yeah, exactly. Like he disgusts me. He disgusts me so much. I don't like him as a. Like I said, Stephanie McCare, Trick Williams matches. That's all you got. Other than that, brother, you can just hit me with the. You should have. And a huge prayers and best wishes to JR. Hope everything goes well with him. We've said that before, but he needs to have a JR schedule. Show up for 2 matches and get him out of there. Show up for maybe 1 match and get him out of there. That's me with Booker T.
I mean, to each his own. I don't have a problem with him. You know, as long as he come up with Trick, you know, ever comes up to the main roster, Stephanie, you know, whenever she a mainstay, you know, they can bring up old Booker T. You know, he can work. You know what? You on to something. He could work that schedule. He just only got called on matches. Those
yes,
two, Stephanie and
yes, that's all I want. Out here. And leave. That's all you got to do, and leave. Unless you think of something else cool for somebody else, then possibly show up, try it. If we like it, you sure stay. If you don't, get up out of there again. But yes,
I like this proposition. I think everybody gets what they want.
Everybody gets what we want. Give me what I want. In the words of Booker T. I mean, in the words of Batista. My bad. Wrong B word.
Give me what I want, dog. I
I need to hear that Booker T Batista story, man. Because I heard Booker T just hit him with the Harlem Heat, man. Hit him with the Harlem Heat.
That's because Batista was out there walking alone.
This is before them Guardians movies, man. He didn't have it like that.
He wasn't an Avenger, man. He hadn't ran up. Yeah, he hadn't ran up into Thanos shit. You know, if Rocket was around,
he ran into dark skin Thanos. That's what it was. Thanos just had dreads at the time. That's what it was. Thanos just looked different at the time.
Just imagine he got the glove.
Oh, since we're on that, that was the worst Spin-a-Rooney I saw last night. That was the worst Spin-a-Rooney I've ever seen last night. Trick Williams, do better. Trick Williams, I'm sorry. You should be ashamed.
He's not an original.
He should be ashamed of himself. That was the worst Spin-a-Rooney ever. I was doing that way better back in my days, back in my glory days. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do. You know what? I'll show you, Trick. I'll show you. I'll teach you something.
See, he said, and then I'll do it right now, and I ain't gonna comment because I just know I could do no better.
See, there's no open space here. There's no open space here. I would do it later on. I'll show you guys later, but trust me. He ain't touching my speed. He ain't touching my Spin-a-Rooney. He ain't touching it. Justice says, you know, I love me some Stephanie McCare out here turning the Redeemer into Booker T every week. And
you see him morph.
He says Booker ended up on the couch every time he calls Stephanie McCare matches. Hit them with the Harlem Heat. Hit them with the Harlem Hangover. Look, I'm telling you. And you got a point with that Stephanie McCare. Look, he definitely. I know Charmel don't be okay with that. Charmel be having some problems. She got to.
Why? See, you know what? How you know? Maybe it ain't an issue because it's only just for that one. You know, if he did it for like every woman on the roster, you know, I'd be kind of like asking some questions.
He said, "Well, I'm talking to Charmel right now. You got to be mad at Booker T."
I was just that's thing. Like, are you talking to her right now? You saying like, oh, she got to be upset. Like she just told you, like, oh, Izzy, I'm just just freaking heated every Tuesday, sometimes Sundays. You know, and I'm like looking on the other side, like she could be. I really don't care. Because I think it's funny. But she could be upset. I'm looking. Half can have.
Half can, half what? Half water. Half can, half water. It's like
one side you might want to stay away from. One side is find a walk on.
Find a walk on. I don't know. I think I don't know. I'll be upset, and I think she might be upset.
See, there you go, man.
You would be upset. I would love to see that Devin's future wife calling a Sheamus match, and every time he does a little hit, Devin would be livid. Devin, they might even get cut off air for a split second. Devin's just unplugging stuff.
I'll be at home. They be like, "Who doing that?" I'll be just at home doing the same thing she doing.
I'm telling you, this man would be sick.
That's this man. He be what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I don't care. See, I ain't like that. We just
we show up and we turn it off ourselves.
We just unplug the cord. If you want something done right, you just gotta do it yourself. So sometimes I don't really be caring that much, so I just don't do it.
Well, we do gotta give some love for Justin, because we did have this conversation though, and I wanted to bring this up because me and Devin had a conversation. I don't know if this was on the air or this was over the phone, but we were like, there could be one day where a guy just comes down and it's just like, hey, Devin, Isaiah, Justin, for some weird reason, you three specifically, you guys have one. You three specifically, just randomly. He's like, you guys have one opportunity. One opportunity in life.
Oh, it sure was off of yeah.
This is on the phone?
No, yeah, I can't remember. I remember, but it wasn't in these conditions.
Oh, yeah, it was like one of those things where it was like, look, guys just gonna bring us three together. He's like, you guys get one opportunity to date a single wrestler, date any wrestler you want of your choosing. And Stephanie McCare just randomly pops up as well. It's just like, hey, I'm dating one of you guys. I was like, man, Devin, I ain't gonna lie. At some point in time, we just got to give it to Justin. It's like we just got to just be like, all right, like it is. Like we all get that one opportunity out of the 3. We all just get that one.
It sounds like Eminem.
Stephanie McCure pops up.
You
Yeah,
had
that's Justin.
Opportunity in one shot.
I mean, now granted, Justin ain't getting it without a fight. Like Devin gonna have to drag me out the room. Like, I'm gonna be like, on them cartoons where you're getting dragged out and your claws, like the claw, getting dragged,
going across the floor and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, it ain't gonna be without a fight. But like, yeah, if God gave us one opportunity to be with somebody, and Stephanie McCure just randomly out of nowhere, just was like, you know what, Miles Osborne, he lost to Obafemi, he weak. Like I don't need this. I don't need this in my life. I need somebody else to talk about this. Yeah, I don't need some wrestler. I need an entertainer. I need some entertainment in my life. Yep, Justin's your guy. Because he gonna entertain all day, every day. You already know. It's not shout out to Lord. Is Nia Jax single? That's a great question. I don't know. I think that's up Devin's
not like
alley.
most girls, man.
And I don't think Nia Jax is bad. Like I don't think Nia Jax is bad at all. I just think her attitude is a lot. I just think she would hate me.
Hey, that's crazy.
Shout out to Justin. I love you guys, but I would never let an opportunity with Stephanie pass.
He already.
Look, I agree.
No.
See, what do you?
That's like him pushing us out the way, like as he said it. No.
No, that's a great question. So that's not even a question. I was like, that's a great point too, because like we were just like,
would you fight Justin for?
No, I was like, that's a great point because we were just like, oh man, Devin, we're gonna have to give this to Justin. Justin's like, give, like, give.
I said, earn.
He said, y'all got an option. It was an option. You guys had choices. It was a choice being made here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Option. I earned this.
I heard this. I used to pray for times like this.
Your name was never even in considerations.
That is, which is a fact. Which is still a fact. Everything is still true. It's like, yeah, no. At that point in time, me and Devin just got to cop out. Ain't no give. I'm taking. Look, Justin gonna come through with that Money in the Bank briefcase. He gonna get it's raps. Me and Devin think we got a chance. Justin gonna come through with that briefcase.
That's funny. We gotta do the turnaround too. Like when somebody come out, like
gotta do the turnaround. Oh no! You just see Justin come through. It's the boss.
The Undertaker dong thing come on. You think it's the Undertaker? No, it's the boss.
So yeah, exactly. You need Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I was like, I'm throwing everybody in there. John Cena, your time is up. The boss's time is now. Like,
right. I need just Pat McAfee. Like, we got the Redeemer. Redeemer was rightfully his.
We got the Redeemer goal. Will Redeemer goal? The boss. It's your boss goal. So freaking give. Like I can see that.
Just like start the exercising. Like, yeah, no. At that point, we're team Justin.
It's just Justin.
But at that point in time, if this fake scenario does ever happen, I'm sorry, Justin. We can't talk to you for a little bit. We can't talk to you for a little bit. We gotta
do that Roman hiatus after WrestleMania.
Yeah, we need to. No, if anything,
we'll see you.
If anything, I'm gonna be looking like John Cena on that ramp, man. I'm looking like John Cena.
All right, you know what? All right, I think we're good. You funny. Hold on. The fact that I can actually see that you just sitting there, just the pyro's going off.
The pyro going off. Justin's like, "What's good, fellas?" I'm just sitting there looking like John Cena. Like, don't tell me what's good.
Looking like Cody at WrestleMania 39.
He was like, "You already know what's good." He was like, "I don't know what's good. You obviously do." It's like at this point, not gonna lie, Pat Yeaton the whole time would be cold. It would, honestly. You know what's crazy about this, Devin? We were supposed to be reviewing 2 other PLEs and pay-per-view. A PLE and another pay-per-view. And
honestly, that's what made it funny. And I was like, I don't know how to stop this, So
I don't know how to stop this. Oh well, we still got Miles Osborne taking on Obafemi. I am a fan of Miles Osborne. I thought he put up a great fight. Obafemi did what he was supposed to do, got the job done. And I think there was a whole lot of respect given for Miles Osborne after tonight. So that was my thoughts on that match.
No, my fault. I just because I had to look it up because I was like, it's Osborne. Because when I hear Osborne, I get the nerd in me wake up and be like, Osborne. The only Osborne I know be flying on gliders, man. You can't trust him. But oh no, it's just Miles Born. I'm sorry. No, I just when you said Osborne, I had to look it up. Like, this man
Oh,
named
that was my
Osborne.
fault. Yeah,
But I
Miles
ain't want
Borne.
you. I ain't want you to. I ain't want to be putting the headline virtually. Now you want to look up stuff. Look this up.
No, you want
Look
to
this
look up.
up. But man, look, I did the whole tangent of him not being the Green Goblin. I forgot what your question
As he
was. I'm
should.
sorry.
No, it was a great correction.
See, now I gotta be corrected. See what I'm saying?
No, I
You
said it
know,
was a great correction. Like you corrected me, so I said it was a great correction.
oh,
But
so
yeah. Oh, my bad. You said what?
no, I forgot what your question was because I was too
Oh,
busy trying to
no, I was
correct
just
you.
talking on the match. My bad.
Oh, honestly, it was more competitive than I thought it would be, and this is no offense to him, to Miles Bourne whatsoever. It's just, in terms of when I see Oba Femi in the match with anybody else, they instantly turn into a bag of ice. So you look at one moment and they get a little offense on him. He might be on one knee. He might be on one knee. Like Miles Bourne got him with a few of them drop kicks and stuff that got him to fall down. But other than that, no. At some point, you gonna turn into a bag of ice, and he gonna be slamming you all down and everything. So I think it was an impressive showing. But I going into it, no matter how they put it, I just couldn't see him being the one that would defeat Obafemi.
I will admit I do love your bag of ice analogy because it's literally it's like it's the spitting image of throwing a bag of ice because when they land, it's no bounce, like it's just
It be stiff, it just be boom. Like, and then it was like a struggle to kind of get it up there, but once it like once that downfall, that's when it's like boom, and it's just a stiff fall on the floor. And I'm like, the only thing I can think of is just that bag of ice you was trying to choke slam. Like, man, F you,
yeah, that fall
bag of
from Drake.
ice. Yeah. Think about that Gunther like power bomb. It's just like imagine doing that to a bag of ice.
Imagine doing it to a bag of ice. The Lord says, Justin, we take what we want. After we take Lex Luthor, we want Lex Luthor. We want the gold, sucker. Stephanie McCurry, we coming for you, brother. I threw the brother in there because we might get yanked out of there. I said it once, maybe 2 years ago on here.
It was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I was like, have fun finding that. Have fun finding that. But
Ego.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's what it was. It was he made me sick. He made me sick. But look, Lord, you got a point there. You got a point. Great promo. Great promo. Now if you could work on some Steiner math, if you could pull up some Steiner math with this, make something shake with that.
CC. Let's go one-on-one.
Justin says Miles has done a great job of getting people behind him. The match was great and did what it needed to do. Let Miles shine. Yep, definitely let Miles shine. I agree with that 100%. And of course, with the GOAT underneath his arm in the NXT Women's Champion, obviously he can do no wrong. The man, the myth, the legend, Miles Bourne himself. So as we move forward, because as we've said, we didn't spend 45 minutes talking about Battleground. We spent maybe 30 minutes talking about Battleground, and then pretty much we took a life of its own. So we can move over to Saturday Night Main Event. If I can admit, probably one of the most boring of wrestling events of this weekend that we're talking about out of the three. Devin, could you agree with that, or are you just completely disagreeing with that?
Man, I think you full of baloney, man. Because I thought that was one of the greatest Saturday night main events I ever seen in my entire life, dude. Like, and I'm talking back, like watching 2006 when they had like John Cena and Triple H teaming up to go against Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, and Rey Mysterio. I digress. I'm just kidding. I thought it was boring. I'm
I was
sorry.
confused. I was like, is he serious? I was like, is he
Nah,
like
I didn't want to just flat out agree with you and just be like, yeah, I thought it was boring. I had to swerve him a little bit, you know.
this man was just hearing Jesse Ventura go off, man, about Damian. That was
Let
the
me tell
only
you.
thing that cracked me up about that.
Let me tell you. Why would he? How are you gonna just walk out? Dude, you should have just had a limo there to pick him up. Like I was just like,
You
dang. I
telling
was
me
like,
you
I
could
get
just
it.
walk out of the door?
Like,
I
granted,
was losing.
I do feel the same way about a walkout finish sometimes. Like, unless like a heel's doing it and they're like kind of like, blah, blah, you know, and they're like, you know, tied up or something. Like, I'm gonna get you. I hate you. You know, like Roman did Kevin or something some years back. But I don't know. See, that's how we let stuff grow on its own and become a tangent. Um, yeah, I thought this Saturday night's main event was boring, dude. I'm sorry. Just like as it went off on the screen, I was kind of just like, okay. I mean, that was cool to watch on a Saturday, but like, if that's what y'all gonna do, I'm gonna start treating y'all like I was treating Collision.
Yeah, at this point.
I'd be like, dang, I know it's on, but like, it's Saturday,
Like,
so I don't. I didn't
if
mean to crap on it that bad, but it was.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, the best part that came out of it was maybe Bronson
John
Reed.
Cena and oh,
See, even John Cena and R-Truth, like that was it had its fun moments. But other than that, that's all it was, just a fun moment. That's all I got from that. Other than that, yeah.
even Cody coming back just didn't feel like like the buzz of like Roman coming back at SummerSlam last year. I guess that's what I was imagining. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
see,
we
look,
got
see, I was
Cody
I was
Roman
imagining
going
Roman
on.
Reigns, which is yeah, I was just
Oh,
comparing.
like I guess because I'm looking like this show is already, when I put a bow on it, it was a boring show, and I'm like, dang, but Cody came back, and I'm like, I'm calling this show boring. I'm like, that should have been like, oh shoot, we ain't seen him just, he got kind of screwed at WrestleMania. This is a big deal, but it's just like, oh, we'll see you at Money in the Bank in 2 weeks.
Huh.
It's like some stuff has like a quick build, and it's like some things don't have a long enough build enough. I mean,
No,
how can
I
I
agree
put
with
it?
that.
Like WrestleMania, like had that extra week where like it kind of dragged, but it felt like it. You felt like cool. We got extra time. They could like cook this stuff a bit more, but they didn't. So it's like, all right, maybe we didn't need that much time to build. Then it's like we get like 2 weeks of build, and it's like, no, we probably do need more time. And it's like, dang, like if y'all could just find the right little medium at the time you're gonna need to get something right to the point of presenting it on the biggest level, which will be a match. Besides, this guy just popping up. All right, in 2 weeks we're gonna have this big match. Like, damn, you just got back here. Come talk. You always want to talk about what you want to talk about. Talk about something first.
Yeah. This is actually interesting here. Justice says Saturday night main event was literally a tale of two perspectives. You either enjoyed it or you didn't. I actually thought it was probably one of the best ones they've had since they brought it back. That I can agree with. I was more entertained than I was in the prior ones, but still compared to what I saw in Battleground and what I saw in AEW Double or Nothing, I definitely thought it was probably the weaker parts of it, uh weaker events out of the three. Not to say that I hated it, but I definitely wasn't a huge fan. Like I said, still entertained. Still thought it was probably one of the better ones they put on, but I still
Just in
didn't. Yeah,
context of this weekend.
I think my expectations were just really really low, and even as they wrestled and as the whole thing was faring out, the tag match, I didn't even get hyped until I saw Bronson Reed. That was the only time I did kind of, jump out of my shoes, which I am happy to see, you know. But outside of that, not really nothing that stood out too much. Lord says, why didn't Cody use his rematch clause? Well, that's the thing. I felt like when it was at some point in time, something happened. There was a shift. I don't know if it was like the new year or Vince McMahon got yanked out of office. It was something that happened. But it was around that time they announced that they wouldn't do like a rematch clause, just wasn't a thing anymore, or like they just stopped, or they laxed out on a rematch clause. Whether that was a Triple H report or a Brian or Dave Meltzer report, I remember being talked about that a rematch clause Just they kind of shied away from it. It seems like. Now, granted, they still do it, but it seems though they shied away from it a little bit. And Devin, you can still correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm like, it's just crazy, if I'm like losing my mind. But
no, it's always hard to gauge that because it's like you would always think every time I lost a championship, I should probably. You would think if they've done it more than at least 10 times, a champion like has a rematch clause that they can state. Unless we going into these matches beforehand, like just letting you know, Cody, you lose this match against John. You can't rematch for this for another year. Like unless these things are like stated beforehand, it's hard to ever be, because it is a good question. Like he could have used it at Backlash. He could have used it at Saturday night's main event. He could use it for Money in the Bank. So it's like,
yeah,
no, I'll see you in a tag team match. Like, man, get out of here. Now you need help. Like, come on, Cody. See, that's what I'm saying. My tribal chief could never. When that was John Cena, he would like roll up and fold John Cena himself. Only time he lost to John Cena was in a tag team match because of weak Sami Zayn. So y'all can miss me with that.
Okay, so
I'm
here
saying,
it goes.
like somebody was throwing something at me.
I found something.
Y'all can miss me.
This is in 2018. This is on Monday Night Raw. Shane McMahon looked to kill that old piece of legislation. Drake Maverick and AOP approached McMahon backstage on Raw, expected to be handed a rematch for the tag team championships, but McMahon cut them down, saying that clause they aimed to invoke was antiquated and no longer a part of WWE's world. So, yeah, it was something that they said in 2018. So maybe that could have been in passing. But I remember them saying that, and I remember it being a big deal, and that was going into New Year because it was in December. So, okay, so that started to make sense.
You'd be like, man, you so trash. I'm going to just erase your rematch clause out the book for this year. And, like, then I'll put it back. But for you, no. I don't know how you
But
got
for
a shot in the first place. So the second time ain't going to ever happen. I don't care if you even be the champion himself. You ain't getting another shot. Now take your dirty trash self back to the locker room. Matter of fact, don't even go in the locker room. Go to the parking lot. Don't even go to the parking lot. Just get on the highway and head home. Talking about a rematch.
Talk about a rematch. Talking about he said, I got to get it out of my chest. It was like, talking about a rematch.
Rematch.
It definitely comes in last of the weekend shows. No lies there. And I feel like that could be up. Well, even though, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I feel like that could be up for debate too. I feel like a lot of people might even put Battleground there as well. Some haters, some AEW tribal
roster again.
So some AEW haters, Devin might put them in last place. Just because of their downright and just utter hatred for the company and for Tony Khan themselves. It was one of those things. I feel it.
I thought it was a good show for with some. I put it like this: one of those good quotes for the type of thing. Like for that type of thing, how does it go? For the people that kind of for the people that like that stuff, that's the kind of stuff those people like.
There it goes.
So there you go. It took a minute to spit it out, but we got it out there. So I ain't gonna sit up here and be like, oh my god, it was just terrible. It's just I'm starting to be doing discovery with AEW. It's helping me really look at stuff and go like, that don't regard me to be like, man, what the, and be like, look, somebody else might look at that and that means the world to them. So
yeah, there's every pay-per-view. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later when we get to AEW. I'll say that later.
I mean it.
Oh no, it's all cool. No, you ain't doing nothing wrong. I was just like, I had a thought, but I was like, I'll hold it for later. Lord says WWE is starting to feel like what's happening in Hollywood. The executives and investors are having too much say in creative. If this was still a Triple H show, Cody wouldn't be coming back just for the tag. Ooh, that's a great point. That's a great point. I mean,
had nothing to say. That's a great point because I'd be like, man, let me tell you something, man. Because it'd be kind of funny. I'd be like, I know y'all got the money and stuff, but can y'all like shut up and like let the people do what they got to do?
Yeah, I mean, like Cody.
Like how you telling Tony Khan? I'm like, dog, you got the money. Like, let people do. All right, sorry, we're not there yet.
Well, but that's the thing. Granted, you see the likes of Cody Rhodes and even Jey Uso. You're seeing Jey Uso seeing getting a huge push, getting a whole lot of love. Why are we getting a lot of the? I can understand Jey Uso, not being and not having really too much to do at this point in time because he has to look Gunther in the eyes for a rematch again. But why did Logan Paul have to come into the picture? We all know why Logan Paul has to come into the picture. Well, yeah, I was like, well, of course you got Prime. Well, of course you have other business. He has the Implausible, where now I'm not talking about this recently, but usually if Logan Paul was going to be in the program, you would have a Becky Lynch on this show. You would have a Roman Reigns on this show. You would have a Paul Heyman on this show whenever he was going into a program. So yeah, you look at the business side of it, you can see why some of these things are happening, but it doesn't help. And Lord, I think you're on to a great point. When yeah, it's definitely gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. So we just gotta buckle up and get ready for the ride. At this point, somebody's gonna be wrestling a Prime bottle soon.
They raising the ticket prices. They putting stuff all over the mat. Like it's no end. Like they ruining it. They doing what John Cena. They doing what John Cena said he was gonna do. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. But look, one thing that Zelina Vega has done that a lot of people haven't been able to do is beat Chelsea Green. Not only beat Chelsea Green, but remain undefeated against Chelsea Green. Zelina Vega is now 5-0 against Chelsea, and it was let me not lie to y'all. That wasn't a fun match. I didn't really care.
I was glued to my seat.
I was glued to my seat.
As soon as I got up, my entire couch got up with me.
Nah, I feel like if I did get glued to my seat, it would be considered torture. My family
proceeded to call me couch butt.
Nah, I was like, it'd be considered torture. You try to glue me to a seat to watch that match. Honestly, like it was honestly, I just wasn't a fan.
You said, "Stop, please, no,
not the 619, not the 619." He's like, come on now, like then now I won't be on the side of people like, oh, well, what happened to Zelina Vega? We talk about Zelina Vega, and now everybody now we all like look. Like, come like I do like Zelina Vega. I do think she's an awesome wrestler. Look, I'm not really gonna necessarily just beat down on somebody for a botch, but I do think there is going to be somebody a whole lot better and more entertaining that's going to come out in the forefront and take that belt from Zelina Vega. It's just a matter of when. I think she's in a miniature Jey Uso role where she's not that over to where she's has a huge pop and everybody's just yeeting and losing their minds, asking for encores and stuff. But it got so bad that hashtag push Zelina Vega went out multiple times. A lot of people wanted this at a point. Now we got it. I'm still giving it 3 months. I'm still giving it 3 months or less. Huge shout out to Alex Gabby. I'd like to see John and Logan talk, but with how many times we can see John, I don't know if that's possible. That's true. It also says, wasn't bad. I didn't even notice the 619 bot much. Yeah, I know. I was just being a jerk. I do like Zelina Vega. I was just being a jerk. Devin, your thoughts on the match?
See, I did see the 619 botch, and I don't know. When I see it so often, then I see it, like, oh yeah, 619.
You need a lot of strength to pull off a 619. Honest, that's a lot of.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say like, oh, you can't do a 619. Like, granted, you're not seeing me just spinning around doing a 619, but case put, it didn't get past me. But who am I? But shout out to Keith Lee. I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah.
And just because when I say it, I feel like my niece will hear me and think I'm talking about the other Keith Lee, and I'm like, I'm talking about my Keith Lee. You talking about your Keith Lee, my Keith Lee, basking in his glory. But I digress. Like it's Zelina beating Chelsea Green for the second time is fine. I guess I'm looking at this United States champion run for her, and I can't help but obviously put it up in a mirror against Lyra Valkyria's IC championship run. And like I'm saying, like you got like a Becky Lynch hovering around that picture, and it's like, I'm not trying to say I need Charlotte Flair, hovering around Zelina Vega, in the next, Money in the Bank for this United States Championship. But I guess I'm trying to say, like, I'm trying to see where the ceiling is for this reign for this Zelina Vega, and I hate to put it so low because it seems like it was something that people wanted for so long, and I see this being as far as it goes.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate. Like, I mean, I don't mean to compare her to this, but it's definitely giving off Zack Ryder vibes. It's definitely getting off Zack Ryder vibes a little bit. Woo woo woo. You know, that's is giving off Zack Ryder. And the reason why I say that is because like it's unfortunate too because she is talented and the work that she puts in, is absolutely amazing. But the fact that, I mean, as you said, the fans wanted this for so long, none of us care. Like, I don't think any of us really put the time to care. I feel like we cared a whole lot more when Chelsea Green was U.S. champion doing her. Oh, so you care about Zelina Vega? You care about what Zelina Vega got going on right now?
No, I mean I was more interested with Chelsea Green stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a Chelsea Green fan.
And Chelsea Green was exactly, and I can't even hate you for that because at least she was doing something. Even when she wasn't wrestling, she was doing something. You know, so that's one thing that really threw me off. Alex Gabby says it's like the it's like the men's secondary titles. Everyone wants IC, but not the United States. And honestly, I mean that's a good point. Well, now nobody wants it because you got a werewolf, you know, holding it or grabbing it and pretty much having it around his neck. You know, yeah, and plus, by the way, of course, the design just a whole lot better. You know, the IC title just a whole lot better design, just looks a whole lot better, prestigious. You know, you think of Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You know, nobody cares about the honky tonk man when you're talking about the United States champion. We could think of Gunther. You know, we could think of Gunther a whole lot, but I think there's so much prestige to the IC title, and I felt like for the
IC championship had a whole 3-disc DVD. Let me know when the United States get one, man.
Exactly. And if it did, it'd be boring. So it's like, man, if it did, it'd be boring. Lord says Zelina should do a ZEO gimmick. Nah, if anything, she should do a I don't know what kind of gimmick she do. She should do a sit home and figure it out gimmick. That's what she should do. She could go home and figure it out at this point.
Dang, you sound like a new club he gonna open up. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta stay there for a little bit.
But you gotta stay there for a little bit. Alice Gabby says I can see Roxanne taking the American title and feuding with Liv Morgan over it and Dom. That I would love to see. I would love to. Well, Roxanne Perez is on Raw, so she would be for the IC title.
I see.
And so Julia, hey, we still got. But then again, Julia,
a draft come up.
But that's the thing. Julia, I think is so. Now she can go for the IC. She could go for the US title. That's fine. But I think Julia, I think you could take Tiffany Stratton. Like, you know, you could take Tiffany Stratton. Go ahead and just shoot for the stars at this point. Like you could beat Zelina Vega. Okay, sure. Woo, layup. You know, soft. That's a soft toss. Okay, no disrespect to Zelina Vega, but I think Julia is definitely well more established at this point in time. So yeah, no, she's going for Tiffany Stratton. I don't know. Have them switch brands or something. Look, I like the way you think though. I like
that's why I said that draft.
You know, hey, Alice Gabby, play me in GM mode. This man's scared to. So look, I need some competition. I need some comp here. I need some competition. But I mean, even outside the United States, accusations. But I mean, just even going through this, we got El Hijo del Vikingo. Let me say his name properly. Taking on Chad Gable at Worlds Collide on June 7th. But also John Cena beat R-Truth. Yeah, I didn't really care.
Very competitive matchup, man. I was waiting on that match for years.
I mean,
they said they hadn't had a match since 2011.
You know what that meant? I haven't said this in so long. I was sports entertained. With that match, I was sports entertained. That's how I felt about that match.
My sports entertainment meter was so full.
That sports entertainment, exactly. Ron Cena, the GOAT. Too bad he didn't walk away with the win. He didn't beat the respect into John Cena. He instead just, is going back to his old ways of being Ron Cena. I thought he saw Lil Jimmy after the fight. Devin, your thoughts on the match?
Lil Jimmy. I mean, honestly, it was exactly what it was supposed to be. Nobody ever thought it was going to be some, long, commercials included 5-star classic. I just really was just a thing that really just another. How can I put it? Another like piece of John Cena's like heel turn. Like even like he low blowing R-Truth in a match. How far can he go? That's how I looked at it. I wasn't. It's something I'm glad they ventured into because of like all the years of like R-Truth going, oh my superhero John Cena. I grew up every Saturday watching him, and all the humor in that. So for them to even tackle just that little piece of John Cena's career with R-Truth, I think they did exactly what they should do, which is just a little pinch of whatever that was. And there's
I
no
mean,
offense to R-Truth. I'm not saying like, oh, you don't deserve no championship match. You don't deserve no match with a commercial with John Cena. It's just at this point you don't. Cause why? He hasn't been built up to where I could be saying like, yeah, I can see him, in a main event match with John Cena for the championship. Let's do it.
yeah, and I mean,
But at the
granted, they
same
didn't.
time, I'm glad they acknowledge that history. I'm sorry.
I was like, this man keeps scaring me because like as soon like he'll stop for like a split second and then just jump. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, I thought you were done. It's like,
You know how this man is. I was like, let me make sure I got all the final touches on my food before I send it out there. He,
so if anything, you just scare me because I'd be like, oh, okay, so yeah. But by the way, I'm like, wait, my bad. I was like, I swear I'm not trying to like be disrespectful. I swear. I was like, I'm trying to be nice. I was like, I'm not trying to like stop your thought at all. Alex Gabby said Ron Cena. Justice says Ron Cena might be the funniest thing Truth has ever done. I definitely agree with that. Alex Gabby also says Cody coming back was cool, but a bit odd since Cena has only one title defense so far after Cody. And I mean, yeah.
Which is Randy, yeah.
Yeah, which was Randy.
Hey, man,
and
where's
now
CM Punk at, man?
Yeah, where's exactly that's what we've really been waiting for at this point. But CM Punk got his hands tied. I understand. He has a lot going on. He has a lot on his plate. CM Punk can't stand me, it looked like. But even with that, I mean, we're now getting a tag match between Logan Paul and John Cena taking on Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Two guys that were once tag team champions now get to tag up once again against a Hall of Famer and a YouTuber who is potentially going to be, let's be honest, Logan Paul being a celebrity with as much wrestling as he's done, guaranteed to be a Hall of Famer at this point. If Bad Bunny is going to be a Hall of Famer, which I definitely think he is, Logan Paul is going to be a Hall of Famer. I got those two guys, at least in my lifetime, being a Hall of Famer. But I don't really care. This match was something that was given to us because the great work that R-Truth has put in, with him being John Cena being a childhood hero. It was great work. When it's all said and done, honestly, we got what we needed out of this. John Cena got the win. Sure.
He had to cheat to do it too. He like Becky Lynch. He had to cheat to beat her.
Yeah, he like Becky Lynch. He had to cheat to beat an almost 60-year-old man. I can't believe this.
That's the magnitude and timelessness of no Tony Storm pun intended of R-Truth.
Just imagine having a low blow Ric Flair because you can't win, man. Just don't make any sense.
I mean, it's Ric Flair. You make it seem like imagine having a Ric Flair. Imagine having a Ric Flair. See, that's he's the dirtiest player in the game. Like he's just an actual dirty tactic of his own.
But even then, I did a whistle there. Lastly, we got not Jey Uso taking on. We did get Jey Uso taking on Logan Paul, but that was much later because we kind of intertwined that John Cena R-Truth match because of what happened in this match with Jey Uso, Logan Paul. Jey Uso did get the win. I don't really care. I don't really care to even talk about this match. You got any thoughts about this Jey Uso, Logan Paul match?
I'm just glad that Jey Uso won. That's it.
I was like, if I would be honest with you, I got no thoughts. Like I had no expectations and I had no thoughts.
Yeah, just glad he won. So that's that.
And that's that. Cage match. That's what I was forgetting. Damian Priest got the win over Drew McIntyre. And of course, hit him with the concerto to get him up out of there, and then walked out of the door to the dismay of Jesse Ventura.
See, a real G like me would have carried Drew and would have walked out of there with them on my shoulders, because I technically still would have won, because my feet would have touched the floor first, and then I would have dropped his, beating up body in front of me, and everybody would have been like, "Nah, that right there, you know, that's a real scary, individual." But like this whole concerto you, and then I just walk away from you, like, come on, man, I
There's
ought to pin
steps.
you.
There's steps going down the cage, right?
Yeah,
So just imagine carrying Drew McIntyre. You get one step down, he just like jerk off your body, just jerk off your shoulders,
I mean,
and
this
lands
is
feet
something I would I
first.
would this is something I would put some type of thought into. Maybe I lean him up against the turnbuckle or something, and then I get out, and then I
And
go
then
from
I
there and try
get
to like, maybe not even
out.
that. Hold on,
Now I
hold
can
on.
leave.
Maybe I won't carry him. Maybe I'll just pull him. I just drag. That's how much I just don't even care about this lifeless body of this man. I just grab him by both his arms, and just pull him through. I'm just saying, I kind of get what Jesse the Body Ventura was talking about. You just boom, I just made your head look like a Sunday morning egg, and now I'm about to just walk out the cage. Like, come on, where's the venom in that? Where's the ruthless aggression in that? That's just aggression. There ain't no ruthlessness in it. That's it. That's it. But with Drew and Damien, I really they're another two that I don't need them to have another match. Me personally,
Facts,
because I
facts.
didn't care about this one, and I wanted to, because it was in a cage match. But I'm like, I just saw Drew in a Hell in a Cell match. It was a bigger cage match last year, so I'm like, I don't know. They got me in a real weird position, because it's like I'm not trying to disrespect Damian Priest, because I'm like, can you do something else? I don't. They put you on a SmackDown, and I thought you would escape vortexes from Raw with the Judgment Day, and now he ran into the Drew McIntyre vortex ever since the Royal Rumble. And even with Drew, he's somebody that we could easily just see. If you wanted to have a world champion right now, Drew could just do it. But like, nah, he's stuck wrestling Damian Priest every week. And I don't know. I think after this, he should just take time away, come back around SummerSlam if he's not gonna. Because I mean, obviously he won Money in the Bank last year and cashed it in the same night, and that was that. So he don't need to be around that picture for. I don't even think he need to ever be around the Money in the Bank picture ever again. He don't need it. So no,
Honestly,
I think Drew can. I hope Damien can probably find some footing with something on SmackDown away from Drew McIntyre, and Drew can kind of fade off a little bit, come back around maybe SummerSlam or something, maybe, and lead it to something going around into that. But right now, you're gonna be wasting time just fighting Damien for no reason every week, and he walking away from you like a coward.
like a coward, like a coward.
He's like, you coward, get back
Alex Devin
here.
said Devin's idea would be tough to see, just dropping the man. Look, I mean, look, don't
See,
encourage him. Don't
like, just
encourage that.
imagine, like, you just dropped the dude. Like, look what I did to him. Like, he walked in this cage, but he showed him walk back out of it. I brought him out of the cage. Like, come on, like, imagine a beast I sound like, just versus me just walking out the cage like a coward. I'm sorry. Nah,
No, I
I'm
just
gonna
had
be
to.
carried at the cage by Justin.
Alex, we haven't seen your name often, and we love and appreciate you. But the number one rule that we have here is to not encourage Devin. Like, just don't encourage. That's like the worst
No,
thing you could
but
do
see,
here on the program.
that's the number one thing you should do. I don't get it enough.
I don't get it
That's the
enough.
problem. When I get a little pinch, they be like, "That's it. That's I'm like encouragement." Somebody
Encouragement,
believed in me. Somebody
enc-
actually agreed with me.
encouragement.
Yeah, I'm like the right encouragement to do my book.
Yeah. Justice says, still wish the escape rule didn't exist in cage matches. I agree. Honestly, like you're in a cage match, the goal is to have you guys there because one guy is ducking the fade. So one way to keep the fade unducked is to fight in the cage. Oh, but although one of my favorite cage match moments was Triple H versus The Rock when both guys are on both sides of the cage and they're just leaning. I just remember The Rock's legs just swaying back and forth. And you just hear, I believe it was Jerry Lawler, come on, Triple H, because he hated The Rock at the time. Come on, Triple H, come on. And he's just like, and The Rock is just like dangling there. And that's when you realize, like, nowadays, they just do 10,000 moves a minute. Back in the day, man, you had to stall. Like these guys were stalling. So you saw a headlock for 12 minutes because they had to figure out what to do. Like it's like it was a whole lot going on back in the day. Devin can contest to it. Matches were a whole lot slower.
See, there you go, man. No, I was just gonna say, like, the escape, it can still work. I just don't think it works in a match where like two guys should hate each other, because like why would they want to get away from each other? I can see it working like in a match like how back then, like you had Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Hell in a Cell, because you just wanted nobody else to get in there and get in Undertaker's way of getting to Shawn. And so I can see, escaping where it's like a heel, like a Dominic Mysterio trying to get away from like Brock Lesnar or somebody. I'm just trying to throw somebody out there. Where like Dominic could win by escaping, but just Brock gonna let him do that? No, every time he gonna grab his leg or something. That'll be the story of the match. But I digress. That's the one condition where I see an escape rule winning, where like one person would want to get away. What if like you got CM Punk and Seth Rollins? I don't see CM Punk like, yeah, I'm gonna just walk out of here. Screw this guy.
I'm gonna just walk out of here. Lord says, yeah, they need to get rid of the walking out of the door thing. They need to be like Drake and Josh, where they have the treehouse and it's like, Drake, go through the door.
Like, go through the door. The door ain't never cut over it. They be like, they used to put doors on this thing, man. Like you be pushing the thing open, like, man, open this door. I could have
He's like, what you doing here?
You gotta climb in. Hey, I mean, but shoot, if you gotta climb in, no, I mean, granted, they could just lower it down. Here I am, talking about climb in there and start the match.
Climb in there and start the match. That's how we gotta do it.
I'm like, oh, I forgot we could just lift the cage up.
Man, if you have to climb in there, I pray I'm the first person to enter in, because the next person that's coming in, man, you is not planting your feet on the ground. I'm doing that to you as you are climbing down. Like, I'm sorry. And if you try to jump, I'm Samoa Joe. I'm sorry. Like, it's just like you're in a lose-lose situation, brother. I'm sorry.
They gonna fall down, like gonna shut your mouth, but they bounce all over the ring and stuff.
Yeah, they bounce on their neck.
They neck and everything.
Flop all over. Like, it was sick. Alice Gabby says Priest was giving babyface vibes at the end, and they are meant to hate each other. Felt off. Yeah, it did feel off a little bit, but even then, I always felt like Damian Priest was just always a babyface. He's just, it's not necessarily Damian Priest fatigue. It's just that I don't know where he's going. I don't know what his goal or objective is. Now that he's away from Damian Priest, I guess we get to figure that out. But like, brother, you lost your sister. Your sister is still
find some direction, man.
Like, we know exactly what Rhea Ripley want to do. I want to get my title back. I want to get my title back. I just can't beat the person that holds the title. Damian Priest, at first it was, I want to get my title back, and if I can't get it back, I'm gonna have to hurt somebody. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. But after a while, now you got Drew McIntyre in your face. Now you still want to tickle around with Finn Balor. Yeah, I said tickle. Now you still want to go around still following the Judgment Day. Like he's lost. He's lost the plot. Shout out to Alex Gabby. That is true. That's the truth. Yeah, my man just lost the plot. So we don't have a book today. I was gonna throw out a book, but we can't do it, unfortunately, because we have one more thing to go over: the AEW Double or Nothing event that took place yesterday as well. And honestly, Devin, I ain't gonna lie to you,
I loved it.
Not necessarily loved it, but I had a whole lot of fun watching it. I had a whole lot of fun watching it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
See, that's probably where I went wrong. I should have been with this guy watching it, but I couldn't. It was a pretty hectic Saturday. I mean Sunday. I'm getting all jacked up.
Because at first I was like, oh man, like
caffeine, darn it.
Like, cause I was scared. I was like, Anarchy in the Arena. Like, man, I'm not really a fan.
Oh man, I love them matches, dude.
I was like, I refuse. I was like, I hate it. Like, what's going on here? After a while, I was like, this isn't bad. Getting a stapler on your tongue, isn't really a good feeling. But honestly, it was still a whole lot of fun. I'm pretty sure Devin missed that part. I'm on Devin ain't like that part.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I missed that entire everything. The Anarchy in the Arena. I'm sorry. I've seen one, I've seen two, and I don't need to see another one. I can't, me personally, do it. I can't just kick my feet up and watch that. Like, I can't just, I have to either be vacuuming And if I'm gonna be doing that much extracurricular, I can't even get it out. If I'm gonna do all that activity, I might as well just turn it off.
I might as well just turn
and
it
like I
off.
said, and it's like I'm not trying to sit up here and say it's terrible. It's just not my cup of coffee. I'm good.
But they
I
didn't
don't
do
need to
anything
see.
crazy. I mean, the stapler and the tongue, yeah, maybe it was a bit much, but I don't think it was
Just,
as crazy as they make it
did I
seem.
not see somebody get pile drive through an exploding table?
No, it was a one wing fairy.
I like this girl, man. Because I couldn't
One
even
winged
get
angel.
mad.
That's what it was.
I couldn't even, like you're right. It was. So yeah, they didn't do too much. Because like I said, they had did so much Wednesday. I'm like, there's nothing left to give me for Sunday. So, but hey,
I thought I honestly wasn't. I didn't hate it too much. The only thing I hated in the Anarchy and Arena match was the music. Granted, I love me some bodies.
yeah,
Let
I
the
like that
bodies hit
song
the
though.
floor.
That's one of my workout songs. So I can't even get mad.
I love that song. I don't want to. I'm not a fan of listening to music and watching TV. First of all, like that's just not me. Like that's just something that's not something that I haven't been a fan of. And so with them playing music in the background, playing the same music, 3 times?
It's a waste of money.
Not even a waste of money. I was just like, bro, what are we doing here? I was just like, this is like, I wasn't really a fan of it, honestly. But, we saw some surprises. Mark Briscoe, after coming from his stretcher match against the demonic, the evil, he'll stab you at night, Ricochet, the bald-headed assassin. Even though, we saw the likes of him put the beat down on Mark Briscoe, he still showed up and came through in this Anarchy in the Arena match. And we saw a lot of people come together here. Yeah, you did see some, thumbtacks in the shoe, but still, outside of all that, it was fun. I would say it was a fun match. Yes, a Young Bucks match that I watched that I said was fun. It was a fun match.
And you know what I say?
Yeah.
I say that
I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
See, but that's the thing. You don't mean that though. You don't mean that though.
you're right. Because it's not the biggest piece. It's one of them pieces though. When you picking it up all the dog pieces, it's like you ain't the biggest dog piece out here, but you one of them, and you stink too. So we finna throw you in this mug too. I like I said, it's just not me. And it's like every time I do it, I feel like it's like one person out there that's just, I guess, just so much tougher than me. They just eat nails for breakfast. They don't even clip their nails. They just eat them. They just rip them off and they just pop them in their mouth like popcorn. Like that's how tough these people are. I could never measure up on that measure of toughness. Me. And so like it's just when I see these type of things, and I'm just like, I could have sworn it was just wrestling. Like I just wanted, an exaggerated problem. Like, dude, I was gonna be world champion, and you took that from me. Why I ought to kick your butt? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need you trying to staple my tongue, dude, because now I'm about to call the police on you. It's like now we going too far. Like you went from a headlock to stapling me.
But I mean,
one thing takes skill, and one thing, I need to call 911.
But see, that's why I said my expectations going into Battleground.
See, there you go. Oh, I thought he was talking about going into this. I was like, there you go.
No, like my expectations for Battleground was low. My expectations for Anarchy in the Arena, they were low, but I thought they were going to do way worse than what they did. So a stapler to the tongue, thumbtacks into some shoes, an exploding table just randomly out of nowhere, and music. That is the tamest AEW match I think I could think of.
Well, that's saying something, and I don't know if it's saying what it should be saying. Because I sure forgot you did get to witness people drinking blood in front of you, so you probably on another level of toughness that I'll never be on.
You probably on that. Oh, hey man, look.
And I know we talking about wrestling, but it's just some things.
I lost my Salty Platoon ID. I'll find it later. But
yeah, you catch me at Weenie Hut Juniors, man.
You catch me at Weenie Hut Juniors.
I ain't slipping and getting covered in boo-boos.
Alex said wasn't a big fan of Swerve stomp off the forklift, and Hook coming back was nice. I am a fan. Could have done more than just stare at Joe. And well, that's because he's mad because a big black dude just stole his spot. He was like, I was living in my best life. He was like, Hook is supposed to be in this match, and next thing you know, he just sees somebody big, black, and jacked just coming through, making his way to the ring. I'll be mad too.
Well, you need to take it out on the person that took your spot. You would look at Powerhouse and be like, "You took my hold on, I gotta do my hook. You took my spot. That's cool, but I want it back. So I want you."
No, I don't think that's gonna work. He gonna die. I think he's gonna die. I think Powerhouse Hobbs. Well, what do you call it? Bag of ice. That's what we gonna get.
I mean, you gotta attempt though. You know, I mean, you could be a bag of ice, but you gotta be a bag of ice that wanted to make a name for himself.
I'd rather him hit the James Ellsworth. Any man with two hands has a fighting chance. You know, like give me something. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm
Any
sorry.
bag of ice with two hands, man.
A bag of ice with two, exactly. He a bag of ice with limbs. That's all it is. That's the only problem here. No, I think Hook, yeah, you gotta stare at Joe. Yeah, because you gotta be like, Joe, like what are we doing here? You know, like I thought we were the ops, you know, and then you invite an op, be the ops. Now I'm an op. You know, it's just like, what are we doing here?
Going for another op.
No, apparently it's not. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. He said, didn't you tell? Can't you tell that this group has a strict? No, I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I was gonna say something crazy.
I was going. Yeah, I was like,
yeah, I was like, you seen that Family Guy with the police officer? He had that skin tone. He had that skin tone card. It's like,
I was just like, come on, man, you go put up
was like, Powerhouse. I don't think we see you on this card here. But yeah, like that. Honestly, when you're looking at this whole thing, I did like the Anarchy in the Arena match. I didn't like the music. I love bodies. Don't get me wrong. I liked it when they played it the first time around. But I'm just like, you guys are supposed to be having this death-defying match, and Kenny Omega's talking in the first like 3 minutes. Oh, let's not play this music. I want to play this music because we need this music. Let's go back to the rock and roll era. The rock and roll era is just like, brother, just fight. You know, it's just like just wrestle, brother. Op versus op. That's what we got, man. What's what we got?
That's what I'm saying. But I don't even see why. Like, I just feel like, you know, it's room for more. That's why they oppositions.
Well,
you know, bloodline. I can see that being limited because there's only so many people in your family. You know, until you add more.
I can see that being limited. It can't be limited. Hey, that's like, I feel like that's impossible. There's too many of them. Like, it's this.
It sounds like a Dragon Ball Z episode.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what Samoans are just like Saiyans of the real world. Like they're like Saiyans. Like,
hey man, as long as I'm a Namekian, man.
Yeah, we're Namekians. We are Namekians. Alex Gabby says overall was good, just wasn't as good as they planned it to be, it seems. That I can definitely attest to, but I feel like they always overhype a lot of things in AEW. But overall, thought it was a really good Anarchy in the Arena match. My eyes have been opened, but then they instantly were shut. Now, this is out of order. So, of course, you know, I wasn't really distraught right after this match, but Jamie Hayter took on Mercedes Moné, and what was a really hard hitting match. Like it was a really fun match, a long one at that, kind of reminiscent of Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander, you know, and obviously Jamie Hayter has a little bit of a similar style with Chris Statlander. Anybody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that there's a little bit of a similar style. There's this, you know, one very sheer difference, you know, out of the two. I just can't put my finger on. I mean, I could put my finger on it, but you know. But you know, outside of that, Mercedes Moné took on Jamie Hayter. Devin, your thoughts on the match? And Mercedes Moné winning the Owen Hart Cup.
Oh man, I was doing fine until we got to that detour. I hate that your girl Jamie had to lose like that in front of you, especially to like the great Mercedes Monet. Um, I don't. I don't. I mean, my thing is this with all those women in the AEW roster? I honestly just don't really know who gonna be like, taking that spot of Mercedes. I'm not saying that like in terms of like I be boasting for like other people. Well, I'm like, ain't nobody stopping because I be thinking somebody could. I'm just, on that hype train until they get there. I don't even know who's gonna be on the train. I mean, you got like, your Megan Baines and stuff, but I feel like they're in the line of Tony Storm's champion. Not, I don't, then there's a weird avenue where I'm like, those two exist, like the TBS champion and all those championships that are along with that, and then there's the AEW Women's World Championship, and it's like those avenues don't exist, and they can even be in the same exact segment right after each other. So I put all that together just to say, the reign, this whole thing with Mercedes Monet, like, I mean, she's having these, matches with people putting her through the ringer and stuff. I get it. She's supposed to be, the best. She got like 3-4 championships. I just don't see where like I don't like I kind of thought we was gonna get some type of payoff with the Camille thing where like you would have her had this bodyguard and eventually like her head to get so big the bodyguard see it and be like, all right, now I gotta tell you, she got our truth, you got a Ron Cena her. But obviously that, she quit and we got nothing else from that. So I don't know who could be elevated from this is what I'm trying to say. So if that's the point, I don't know what's the point of it then. Like if nobody can come out of this Mercedes Monet, multiple championship run and either be on the way to make it to that level, then what are we doing?
You know what's crazy? Now that you bring up Camille, like we were actually, and look, we always talk about our AEW appearances. Hey, like, we were the last ones to see Camille. That was
she
like,
saw us and said, "All right, that's it, man." Like,
yep. She was
I
like,
ain't
"Look, I'm
doing
gonna
this
be
no more.
Queen of the Ring. We got to we got to watch Queen of the Ring, and we got to report on it. We gotta do a Queen of the Ring review. I might watch that tonight. Honestly, I'll probably watch that tonight.
See, he say that, man. He say that. Then I'll be like, "Hey, you watch it?" Do auto. I jump in it. I gotta get on it. It's not that I don't want to watch it. It's just time.
It's just I just hate women wrestling.
Oh, that's this dude. I'm like, why would they even make a movie about this?
Why would they even make a movie?
It should have just stayed a book, so I don't have to read it.
Devin was like, Jim Cornette was only here for like 2 minutes. So it's like, well, why even watch this?
That was the thing. Seeing him was in it. I'm like, oh, he in this too? I had to put a 2 in there because at first, like the what's her name? I don't want to get her name wrong. Emily Bet Records, Rick Records. Yeah. You go, what you mean? That's when it ended. It ended with her and Oliver. She was the main.
Grant Gustin already had that, man. Gustin already.
That was the thing because Oliver just was too busy doing others. He wasn't focusing right. He ain't know what was right in front of him all along.
Barry Allen had her on the train, kissed her, hit her with the e. He said, "You can go back over there. Go back to that dusty city, man, where they saved nobody."
Dusty city. Yeah, there you go, man. But to put that in point, I do need to watch Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely will too. We'll definitely do a report on it as well. Alice Gabby said it was pretty funny to see her hang by her feet on the bottom ropes, waiting for her to get her knee smashed on the floor. Hey, stop that. Stop that. Don't do that to Jamie.
Yeah, like it was like, if it was anybody else, I would.
You and this phone, man. Where Devin the Tribal Chief at? I'm snitching, man. I can't believe this dude. I was like, he just froze.
I figured if I didn't move, it just would just stop. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I was like, he just froze and it stopped. I was like, what happened? Like he just saw
that person that was calling also still. They was like, he can't be there, and they just hung up. They was.
He said, "You know what? I tried. I did all
I could. People call my house. I just do this. I just. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not here. I'm John Cena right now. Do.
He's like, bro, I'm breathing too loud. I gotta.
I'm breathing too.
I'm waiting for the phone to stop ringing.
But hopefully, no more interruptions.
Hopefully. Oh no, I promise you, we're almost done. I promise, we're almost done. Alice Gabby says they got an all or nothing match coming up soon with Tony, which is why, of course, Mercedes Moné had to win this. I would have loved for Jamie Hayter to match up against Tony Storm, but we all can get what we want nowadays. Justice says one of the better Mercedes Moné matches she's had in AEW. The outcome was just overly predictable. The outcome almost scared the mess out of me. Jamie Hayter, of course, kissing her strong, muscular arm that she has there, getting ready to hit Mercedes Moné with a mean lariat. Mercedes Moné reverses, tries to hit her with like a roll-up pin, but it looks like it turned into a DDT. Like Jamie Hayter just landed straight on top of her head. It was actually pretty vicious. And even Taz and them were just like, oh, well, it looked like it was a DDT. Like it looked like Mercedes Moné tried to hit her with a DDT for, it's just like they tried to cover up for it. The best part about this whole thing was the win, Mercedes Moné rolling out, and that Maury Jerry Springer cameraman that is following her behind as she's running up, to the Owen Hart Cup to get the Owen Hart title, the foundation title. And she's like running, and you can just see like it's Jerry, like she's just running up the ramp, and this cameraman just following, just going. And I'm like, man, look. And me and Devin saw we went over like the pretty much how the camera stuff works as well, and the camera crews. And all that.
Production is really interesting.
AEW's production is pretty cool. WWE's production, whole nother level. AEW production is something that, like, if you have some type of experience, I think you can make out what they're doing. WWE, I have no idea. WWE, like, man, I'd be like, look, I didn't reach that level. At that level, I just it's unreachable at this point. AEW, I'd be like, oh, that's the floor director. I'd be like, okay, I see what's going on here. But yeah, Mercedes Moné, really good match. Really, really good match. I just didn't like the fact that she almost killed Jamie Hayter with that roll up, with that roll up pin that she did there. Wasn't really a fan, but good match nevertheless. Daniel Garcia, Nigel McGuinness versus FTR took way too long. I felt like that match should have ended like 15 minutes sooner. The match was good, don't get me wrong, but geez, they fought for far too long. FTR beat Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. I really don't have any more thoughts on this match. I just thought that it took way too long. FTR, the fatigue is there. The fatigue is definitely there on FTR. You feeling any fatigue?
You're talking about the match. I thought it took too long to find the remote. FTR, I had to do that. I had to do it. I don't know. It's I feel the exact way that the colors are when they come out.
Yeah.
Very muted. I feel very muted with them. They used to be one of my favorite tag teams, and now I don't even know what happened. Like it's insane to me though, because it's like they got the same music. I used to hear that boom 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 boom. Man, I'd be on the treadmill in the gym. Buddy that was over there for an hour. I'm like, you ain't seen nothing yet. Even though you've been here for a while. Wait till this FTR come on. Now it come on, I might just fall off the treadmill and be like, well, find the remote.
Remote for the treadmill?
That too.
He just goes find the remote, just leaves the treadmill on. Just leave it on.
Be like, yeah, I be sitting there like, it might need to turn that off too. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm in that space where FTR. I don't know. I don't know where they're not downfall. Like where I kind of felt where I'm not interested in what they're doing. I'm like I prefer them to just go win a tag team championship at this point. Dustin and Guevara, they weren't doing too much. You can't touch the Hurt Syndicate right now. You can't.
Yeah. Can't touch the Hurt Syndicate. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate got the win over Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. And honestly, and that's the thing. Dustin Rhodes, his gimmick now is just coming out and just telling people about themselves. You know what?
Yeah, you know what, you piece of garbage.
Let me tell you something. You have been a real jerk lately. And I don't like it.
It'd be like,
cool.
It'd be like, damn, how long you been holding on to this?
Like, yeah, it's like thanks for telling me.
Like how how people build up their promos like week by week. He be on like week 5 of intensity by week 1.
Just be hot for no reason. You know what? I don't like your attitude. You know, well, good. Tell that to Tony Khan, and maybe he'll get me fired. Like, get out of my face, like, please. Like, dang, you know what you sound like? You sound like the boomers. Dang, man.
Oh, boomers, man. Last of your kind. That's what his shirt say.
Last of his kind, exactly. That's a fact. Old head. We talked about the stretcher match, Mark Briscoe, and Ricochet. We definitely talked about we got into the Hurt Syndicate beating down Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. So pretty much something that was expected. The only thing that was huge, not really huge, but pretty much the big thing about it is MJF is trying to cheat. He's trying to get the Hurt Syndicate, to cheat, trying to use some underhand tactics. And I thought a big part of it, I believe it was Dustin Rhodes that was outside of the ring. And MJF eye gouged him, was going to hit him with the diamond ring. And Bobby Lashley is just like, brother, you don't have to do that. Like, come on now, let me handle this. And then just turns around and spears Dustin Rhodes out of his shoes through a barricade. Something that was just so cool, stuff like that. But like,
you just got the hurt.
Yeah, we don't have to cheat. You just gotta hurt. He's like, so you can do both, but it's okay. Like, we just gotta prioritize one over the other. Let's cheat. Let's hurt first, then cheat. But I don't think there's anything turning. Like, there's not nothing, any bad blood or tides aren't turning or things of that nature. Flash tattoo. But it's just one of those things where it's just I just have to show that off. But it was just one of those things where it's just like I really want to see how they play this off when this whole thing's said and done. I was like, Flash tattoo. I was like, we had this whole Flash argument, had this whole Flash Arrow argument. See, this man ain't even got an Arrow tattoo, man.
I know, but that's like he was like, yeah, just had to show that off real quick.
Yeah, look, I told you if I press it on my arm, I run really fast. Look at that, boop. I just ran. Y'all didn't even see it. But
I want to see me do it again.
Y'all want to see me do it again? I was like, mine just don't have the wind to it. I don't have electricity or wind. I said that was stupid. I said I know how to control all that. I was like, I know how to negate all that. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Okada. Look, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I seen Speedball Mike Bailey kick the steps. Okada walked away. My man's hit that little karate kid move. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm finna make me some hamburgers. I was like, I think I'm finna go do something else. This was one of the matches I missed. I'm sorry.
And this made him a burger flipper, man. That's how you know this match was.
Yeah, I was a burger flipper.
His whole career.
And I might have missed a banger because I came back, of course. There was Timeless Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. And after watching that match and seeing them dance along, I was like, yeah, I think I should have made burgers at this moment in time. I actually went back and made more burgers. I was like, I just got fat after that. Just
burger after burger after burger after.
I got this point. I was like, I'm just suffering. But honestly, I wasn't even a huge fan of the Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa. I like that they have fun. They are pretty athletic and they're awesome at what they do. But I wasn't a fan of neither of those matches. Devin, you? Just a fan of
be honest with you. Hey, I am a fan of some things. Just it be the scope of it all. I was not. It's just I don't know if it's because All In is around the corner looming, and I'm just knowing that a lot of changes may not happen until then. So this makes it feel kind of filler to me. And I don't know. This made, like I said, it's just crazy because I'll see stuff like this Double or Nothing and be like, okay, it was okay. And I'll see somebody, this is the greatest AEW event in my life. And I'm like, how you get on that? But I'm like, again, who am I to sit up there and do that? Who am I? Who? I'm just an old regular Joe Smoke. I don't have the right to sit up there and take, this 100% fulfillment you reached with this. But I'll put all that to say, I thought the Mina and Tony Storm match was okay. I know I already had my bold prediction going into it that Mina was gonna come away champion because I'm like, why not throw that thing on her?
Wow.
So she can do her.
Wow.
But I didn't have that little Morgan magic last night, but it's okay. We still got a long year to go.
We do. We definitely got a long way to go.
Because it was just match after match after match after match after match After the match, okay, hold on.
I mean, yeah, I honestly wasn't a huge fan of just the last two matches. Even the Paragon and Callis family, the Callis family did, of course, get the win, as I feel like a lot of people expected at the point in time. They are new not even a new up and coming team. The Don Callis family has been, who they are for a while, but now with the addition of Josh Alexander and of course Kyle Fletcher, kind of taking on this new Kyle Fletcher that he is, even after shaving his head and taking a couple losses from even though he got one win off of Will Ospreay, did of course see a loss as well. Just wasn't a huge fan of those ladder matches. But Will Ospreay taking on Hangman Page, not a Hangman Page fan, but man, Hangman got the win, and it was a really, like, just such a long match, brother. If you're gonna have these long matches, make sure your other matches aren't as long. Like, if I'm over here talking about how long the FTR match is, I shouldn't be sitting here complaining about how long your main event match was as well. Like, your main event match, yes, it should be long. It should be 50 minutes. It should be 45 minutes long of wrestling, nonstop action. Sure, okay, that's fine. But you shouldn't have a tag match doing the exact same thing, going 30. You shouldn't have another match doing a 35. You shouldn't have another match doing it. Like, come on now. Like, let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes here a little bit. But everything was 1,000 miles and running. That's the thing about Will Ospreay matches. The way they end, it could have happened 15 minutes ago. It could have happened 10 minutes ago. Like, they at some point in time, they're like, all right, bro, you ready? You got no. There's still maybe 2 more moves that I want to do just to get the crowd.
A little bit of more shit I gotta get.
Yeah. Still, I need to get that. I need to get that in real fast. And so I think that's one of the biggest problems is overkill. I do think Will Ospreay matches can be a bit overkill, and I thought that match was leaning towards that until we got towards the ending. Still thought the match was a whole lot of fun, and Hangman Page got the win. So we're gonna get a Hangman Page taking on Jon Moxley. And this might be a match that I'm definitely going to skip too, because I don't want to see either as champion.
Hey, I'm not skipping it unless it's going to give me a Moxley less champion future of AEW, because I had enough. So if a Hangman Adam Page is my last, if Adam Obi-Wan Kenobi is my only hope, then I'm all for it. Because I can't do it with this Moxley, briefcase. I want to see the championship again,
Yeah.
Can we just get like Hangman, Marina Shafir, and maybe Claudio, and that's it. Just take his whole, organization. Do a Judgment Day swap,
A Judgment Day swap. Yeah, Moxley definitely needs to go and sit somewhere. Like, you did what you needed to do. I don't want to see Hangman Page as champion either, but if it's something different, it's something different. But now you're seeing AEW just kind of they're going through loops. We're not seeing new champions anymore. It was Chris Jericho to Jon Moxley to was it Chris Jericho to Kenny Omega to Hangman Page? No, because Jon Moxley was fighting Kenny Omega. So it's Jon Moxley.
Because Hangman beat
Kenny. Yeah.
To be champion.
And then Jon Moxley continued to win because he beat Punk. And then he went on to hold the title again at this moment in time. And so it's just like, brother, like, we thought Samoa Joe had a chance of being a 2-time. Hangman Page has a chance of being a 2-time. We saw Bryan Danielson get the chance. It's just like, I feel like we're seeing a lot of the guys rotate now. What new stars are we building here? Not saying AEW is dealing with a problem of building new talent. I'm not saying that, or building newer. It's just, what are we doing here? To gain interest.
Future, right?
Yeah, exactly. What's the future like? That there goes. It's perfectly worded. I know what our future is looking like. Our future is looking like you hitting the outro for our show. Because Devin, is there anything you want to say before we close this show out?
Well, there is. I think I finally have awakened fully-ish, because I finally just took my vitamins, so that should tell you something. kind of peeked over there. It was like, I haven't taken you guys today. But the one thing I did take was my time and not letting AEW. I'm gonna take my time and letting this focus. I'm gonna take my time and not letting AEW further, cause any disruption to my mental stability whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, it is professional wrestling and it's supposed to be entertaining and it's supposed to be my escape. So if my escape is causing me to escape from it, then we have a problem. So I put all that into a box just to say that's how I'm tackling moving forward. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's still I have to slap myself maybe multiple times to realize today is Monday because I'm like, well, shoot, I guess Monday Night Raw will be coming on. So that's a cool thing. But I'm gonna hand it back over to the number one hater in the nation, the man who was more fully awake and alert than I was. He already had that natural caffeine in him earlier. I don't know what kind of coffee he drink. He drink that coffee that'll keep you awake for like 5 years. But I'm gonna hand it back over to Isaiah Jackson. Stay up all day, Junior. I'm sorry, get me out of here.
Oh wow, I hit you.
Yeah, I was just hanging. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." He was like, "Yeah, I'll get you out
Get
of
me
here."
out of here. It was like, get me out of here. That was funny. I'm sorry.
I was like, I'm letting everybody down right now.
He said, and I'm gonna head it back over to wait, was I even the number one hater in the nation? I don't even think I was the number one hater in the nation.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, you were. I would see that's my problem. I be trying to add like new material in there and be like, yeah, what if it ain't broke? Counter probably shouldn't fix it.
Hey, he shout out to Justin. You're right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Justin comes through and says, "Awesome show, guys. The boss." You can see Justin on Circle of Debate. Now, be on the lookout for their watch party. Gonna have a watch party tonight. Of course, Monday Night Raw still gonna be on tonight, right? I would assume
Yeah,
so.
that's what I was saying. I was like, oh shoot, today is Monday. Like, I mean, Monday night. You know what that means?
Exactly. You know what that means? Exactly. You know what that means? A Circle of Debate time. Exactly. Circle of Debate. It'll be on the lookout for their watch party. I believe their subscribers are at 975. I know their subscribers know more than I know ours, honestly. They're at 975, I believe. The last time I checked, they're on the road to 1,000. So please like, share, and subscribe to the boys because they are insanely entertaining and they are welcoming to anyone and everyone. So definitely be on the lookout for them. Of course, me and Devin will be back real soon. I just got a schedule change, so I'm off on a certain number of days. So you might see a little bit more content shift over. If not reviews, then definitely gonna hop on this Xbox and give somebody else the work on GM mode because apparently I'm just there's this one GM mode that I have. It's just sitting there collecting dust. It's just sitting there. Every time I go on my Xbox, I press GM mode and I gotta I got doing one of them bad boys. And it's like it's collecting cobwebs.
He say that. Then when it start, he gonna be trying to put that dust back on it.
He gonna put that good. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to play no more. It's like I quit.
He was like, I ain't play that. I'm like, dang.
I'm like, that wasn't even me.
Undustable.
I gave somebody else a controller.
We're gonna run it back.
Huge shout out to Justin. He says 978 right now. Congratulations, 978. Look, what's that? 22? 22 more to go. It's just right around the corner. It's right around the corner.
If you had 50 to 978, and you get 16, we just go 1-on-1. Yeah, 16. I don't know. I keep adding 16, I guess.
Yeah, this is that 16. Is that 16?
My favorite number.
But look, they don't need 16. They need what? Is that 20? That's 22, right? I'm not tweaking, right? 2. Yeah, 22. You need 22. You got 6. Like, look, the Circle of Debate, they are amazing, wonderful, awesome people from down here. And then you've seen them today. You've seen the Notorious Dom, the Devious One, Ivan, and of course the Redeemer, Justin. Follow those guys. Be on the lookout for them on Circle of Debate. A whole lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? All right.
I got scared.
Nah, that's cool. I'm about to go downstairs real fast though.
That's not a hand. We're gonna restart again. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I got you. I got a slide too. My
All
fault.
right.
I
I'll
was
see you in
trying
a
to
minute.
break. All right.